Good evening, everyone. Please, if you are online, can I see your comments? Okay, so we're making a quick announcement now. Yeah. So, welcome to your Learning Hub, which is the LMS. And before we dive into today's lesson, we'll take a quick moment to talk about our most important tool for the entire journey of this AI Now Bootcamp, which is our LMS. And the LMS stands for Learning Management System. So you think of the LMS as your personal command center for this bootcamp, and everything you need, like everything you need for this journey, lives inside of this center. It is where you will join all your live classes, just like this one. It is where you will access all the materials, the recordings, and the resources from the class. And it is how you are going to track your own progress and see how far you have come. It is also a place where you will connect with your peers and your instructors. So I'll take you through the process of logging in on as a first timer. So now to log in, especially if this is your first time, you go to the portal. And how do you go to the portal? You open your browser and type in the specific domain. And this domain is portal.learnlive.site. Portal.learnlive.site. Once you type that, you search, you see a login screen, portal.learnlive.site. Then afterwards, you will input your login details and you use the exact username and password that was sent to your mail initially. That's the welcome mail. So you enter the username and password you were given in your mail. So you can quickly check your mail for the username and the password. So those are the things you need, or those are details you need to log in. And in case there's a trouble logging in, please don't panic. Don't be scared. Nothing is happening. There's no crash. If your login details are not working, we can fix it. And this is how you can fix it. You just click on lost password link. You click on lost password. Then you follow the instructions. Follow the instructions step by step to check, and also check your mail for a link to reset your password. Once you have reset it, you can log in right in. So basically, if you have issues logging in, what you have to do is click on lost password. You follow the instructions that are given. You will check your mail for a link to reset your password. And once you reset it, you can log in right away. So for the returning users, can I hear? Yeah. Welcome back. Just log in as usual. Please go straight to your course and make sure you are actively marking any completed section or classes as done. So once you finish a class, mark it as done so as to keep your progress accurate, so that the progress tracking can be very accurate. Please don't miss a day or a session without marking done, please. So this is for the returning users. So the next thing we have here is the tax on the LMS. So there are two crucial things you must remember to do after every class. Crucial things you must do after every class. It is very mandatory to do these things, as they will determine your score, they will determine everything at the end of the training. So the first one is take attendance. Right after the session ends, please go to your course session for this class and click the mark as done button to record your attendance. This is how we can officially measure your participation and commitment to the program. So please do not forget this step. Always mark your attendance after each course section. After each course session, there's a session there that says course session, and that's for the particular class you are having. Then you mark as done. Please do not forget this step. Then the second thing you are to do is to engage and learn actively. So the LMS is not just for watching videos. It's not just there to just watch videos. You can go into the discussion forum, you can join conversations, you can share your thoughts, you can ask questions, and you can respond to your peers. Active learning is where real growth happens, and we want to see you engaging. So the best way to grow is to be active, to engage actively with your peers, ask questions, try things, share your thoughts. If you are conflicted one way or the other, you can always reach out, and that way you can actually grow, you can learn, relearn some things, and unlearn some things. So that is all for now. Thank you. So if the LMS is not working, please try again, reload it, and it is going to work. If you have to change your password or change your username, your password actually, you can always use the lost password link to retrieve a new password on your email. So don't forget, the portal to log in as a first timer is portal.learnlive.site. Portal.learnlive.site.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening. Can anyone hear me? Hello, good evening. Okay, good evening, Hannah. Good evening, Mudukbe. Adiola, thank you. Deborah, good evening. Jam J, I see you. All right, so we're back after a long break. It was pretty long. You didn't have classes from since when? Thursday. But we are back today. So welcome to week 2 of the training and week 2 session 4. We are welcome. The journey is progressing. Mr. Joseph, Bossman, I greet you, sir. Okay, since Thursday, that's true. Yeah, it's been a long, very long break. And I'm hoping that some of you have not shut your laptop since then and you just opened it 5 minutes to this call. Someone has not touched Excel since last week. Fee, they will respond to you, don't worry. Yes, James, week 2, session 4. That's where we are. All right, so welcome everybody. Thanks for joining the session today. And today we would proceed from where we stopped. But the usual, we will start with a quick revision of what we did last week. So everyone, please head on to the chart and type in a few lessons from last week. What were the things that you learned last week? What were the things that stood out for you last week? It's only the gurus that can close laptops since last. Bola Tito, okay. And I suppose you're one of them, right? For you to have this definition, you're probably one of them. Use of inequality, mathematical operators in Excel, conditional use of inequality. Thank you so much for that, Akintunde. That was swift. Aggregate function stood out for Daniel. Super. Emmanuel, good evening, sir. SUMIF for Effiong, good. The whole use of SUMIFs, all right, that's fine. Odyssey, data is everything and anything. That's good. Good to know. It's a good takeaway. Angie, you picked a couple of functions. That's super. Osaruwe. Sorry, I suppose I pronounced your name correctly. I suppose. Pardon me if I did not. But I saw your point. Finally able to join the class at its commence. That's a victory. Well done. It's actually because you started late. Because if you had just joined now, you probably would have missed something if we didn't have some things to discuss earlier. So apparently, you missed some things. Daniel. Okay, Ajay Daniel. There are a lot of Daniels, so call me Ajay Daniel. Okay. Yeah, Ajay Daniel. But I saw one person earlier, Angie. So ANJY, that seemed to be the username. The person most likely is also Daniel, maybe. Maybe that would be you are Ajay Daniel. Let me not give the person a name. Mathia, function argument and parameters, super. Central ETL, good. Maxives, well done. That's great. Control for function argument box, additional, yeah, good to know. Those with no laptops, I see. That's another angle. All right, so welcome everybody. You don't complete the assignment, good, David. Welcome everybody. Today we are going a different route. Last week, we looked at functions that are related to numbers. So last week we looked at functions that are related to numbers. Yeah, so last week we looked at functions that are related to numbers. And today we want to go the route of functions that are related to text. Functions that are related to text. So I'm going to switch my screen quickly now to this file. The exercise file for today has been shared. Please, if you have the file with you, head onto the chart and type 1. If you have the file with you, head onto the chart and type 1. If you do not, type 0. Good evening, Mr. Emmanuel. Welcome, sir. Not yet. No file shared. I don't agree. I see ones, I see a lot of zeros, much more zeros. If you're one of those who hasn't gotten the file, or who has the file for tonight's class is on the LMS. Okay. So please, you need to add on to the LMS to pick the file from there. You need to add on to the LMS to pick the file from there. The zeros have it. No, that wasn't the instruction. 1 if you have it, 0 if you do not. That was the instruction. If you don't have the file, please go check the LMS and pick the file from there. And I think you can do that while we are at what we're doing currently. So today we want to look at functions that are related to text. We want to look at functions that are related to text. There are a lot of functions in Excel. There are a lot of functions in Excel, as we already know. And if I go here to the formulas tab, if I go here to the formulas tab, you'll see that here we have loads of functions that are related to text. There are quite a few of them that are related to text. But like you have known, we would not be using all of the functions, and especially you're not expected to know all of these functions. There are some functions that you would have to use at almost every single day, that you have to do something related to text in Excel. And those will be primarily the focus for this conversation. We have the different categories of functions to be. We have, for example, we have this function, left, mid, right. Then we have search, find. Then we have proper. So we have proper, we have upper, we have lower. Then we also do have trim, clean. Then we have concat, we have the ampersand. Then we also have, so just keep your eyes on what I'm typing. My screen is blurry. Are you using a mobile phone? We have concat, we have this, we have text join, then we have text before, we have text after. So these two guys, I should bring them here. So I'll do something like this. Okay. Then we have functions like substitute, and then we have replace. This in total should be 17. So these are 17 functions here. While we were looking at functions that are related to numbers, we probably would have looked at maybe something around 15, maybe between 10 and 15 functions as well. This is another 17 functions that we would be exploring. We may not be able to explore all of them solely, but I will give you an insight into what all of them would do, what you can use them to achieve. At the same time, we have exercises that would make us use most, if not all, of these functions. The first category of functions that we have here, I'm just going to explain first so you have an idea of what these functions would do. The first category of functions that you see here, the left, the mid, the right, the file is on the LMS. LMS is not working. Admin help. You probably are just joining peace. There's been a conversation on the LMS tonight. So if you were in that conversation, if you were part of that conversation, you should have asked your questions. The function that I have highlighted, left, mid, right, these are functions that you use for text extraction. You use them for text extraction. What do we mean by text extractions? These are functions that you use to pick a portion of a text. For example, now we have somebody whose name is Kingsley Large. We have somebody whose name is Kingsley Large. This particular person, assuming that you want to now separate the names into first name and the last name, we would need one of these functions to achieve that. You will use the left function. when you want to start your extractions from the leftmost part of the original text, use the left function when you are starting your extractions from the leftmost part of the original text, which is if you're picking your extraction, you want to extract Kingsley from Kingsley Large because Kingsley sits at the leftmost part of the original text, then you use the left function to do that. Conversely, if you're picking, if your extraction would be somewhere towards the right, then you use the right function. If you are extracting, you're starting your extraction from the middle of the original text, then you use the mid function. So let's go here. Okay, let me do it this way so that I can take the exercises the way they are. We have these functions here. The three functions that I have highlighted in, pardon me, I think this is purple in case it is not, but I think it is, right? So we have proper, upper, and lower. These three functions, they are used to manage cases. So cases transformation. What do we mean by cases transformation? Whenever your original text is written in a particular case and you want to change the case, looks like lilac. Okay, thanks for that, Esther. And you want to change the case from however it's currently written to proper case or all uppercase or all lowercase, then you use one of these three functions. How do you use them? Let's see right here. The first activity for today, we have these three names or these four stuff here. This first one looks like telephone. This one looks like big toes. This is a chocolate bar, and this is supposed to be pineapple. We asked to write these words properly. What does it mean to write something in proper case? What it means is that the first letter of the word would be capitalized in capital. That's what it means to write in proper case. So if you have a single word, if what you want to convert is a single word, then the first letter of that word will be written in capital. If there are a couple of words, maybe something like a sentence, the first letter starting each of the words would be in capital. So if I come here now, I do equal to proper. We are not supposed to go back to this. You already know that. Whenever you want to write anything that would seem like a calculation in Excel, you have to start with the equality sign. Equal to proper. I hit enter, tab, to open the start bracket, the opening bracket. Then the proper function is asking for only one thing. It's asking for just one argument. And the argument is a text, which is what text do you want to convert to the proper case? The text is what is here, telephone. I select that text and I hit enter, and you see now that telephone has now, originally it's all written in lowercase. Now it's been converted to the proper case. I want to push this down so I can just highlight all the cells below, the remaining 3 cells below, which would have the same kind of calculation. Then I press Ctrl D to copy down the formula. So Ctrl D, that's a shortcut you're learning today. Ctrl D to copy down a formula. So if you have a formula somewhere at the top and you want to use the same formula downwards, just highlight the cells downward, Ctrl D, that will copy down the formula for you. If you have a formula somewhere here and you want to use the same formula to the right, you do Control R and that would copy the formula to the right. So if you look at this now, with just a single formula, we've been able to convert big tools that's written in mixed cases now looks nice in the proper case. Chocolate bar looks nice now, same with pineapple. We are done with case study 1. Case study 2, we want to capitalize each of the words, which is the same set of words, but we want to turn the words into all capitals, all upper cases, which means the telephone that we see here should appear something like telephone, like this. It should be in the uppercase. So what function would we use for that? Here we have a function called upper. So the upper function is what we'll use to manage this. So I come here, equal to upper, equal to upper. I thought Control D is to delete. No, not in Excel. In Excel, Control D would copy the formula for you. If it is in PowerPoint, Control D would duplicate. If it is in Microsoft Word, if you are using it on a shape, Control D would duplicate as well. I'm not so sure where you will use Control D to delete. So here we'll use the upper function. Upper function is also asking for the same thing. What is the text that you want to convert into the uppercase? It's still this text telephone. I select telephone and I hit enter, and that converts it to the upper function. What is upper for? Kindly come again. Upper is to convert whatever text you have to all be written in the uppercase. Writing in uppercase means you're writing in capital letters. Make sense? Okay. So if I highlight this downwards, like so, Control D, that applies the same formula downwards. And now you will see our big toes is indeed now a big toe. Okay, we're done with case study 2. Case study 3. We want to write this set of words in the lowercase. We want to write the set of words in lower cases. So what I will do is, if I go here to our library, we have used the proper function to convert an original text to the proper case. We use the upper function to convert an original text to all uppercase. We used the lower function to convert, and that's what we're going to use now to convert the original text to all lower case. Thanks for that, Ibukun. I already corrected that as well. Yes, thanks. All of you, you are looking for my wrong spellings. It's good, it's good. That's Nigeria for you. Okay, so now, but I will leave it here. I will leave it like this because I'm a very stubborn Ibadan boy. So I will leave it this way, despite you having corrected me. But this one is correct because I saw that myself. Okay, so I'll come back here. Equal to lower. That's what we're using. We're going to use the lower function. We use the lower function, and I'm going to point to telephone. That's what we want to convert to the lower to lowercase, because the lower function is asking for the text that you want to convert into the lowercase. So hit enter. Telephone now looks small. So it looks like the times where we used to have those small phones, those pocket size phones. Control D, I bring this down, and everything now is in the lowercase. Yes, Moriko, you are correct. Christiana, why are you laughing? Okay, if you're together, if you are where I am, and you are not somewhere at the junction trying to get something, please go to the chart and type 4. Type 4, someone type 0. It's easy to know the latecomers. It's very easy. The person is still watching. They are just at 11 minutes. That's why they are typing 0, or they are at 12 minutes. You see? It's very easy to catch those that are just joining the class. Very easy. When they get to this current timestamp now, they will hear now and they will start laughing. Hey, this guy caught me. Type 4, somebody is typing 44. You see? Yeah, again, I've seen another zero again. You see, come on. There are just some techniques you use those techniques. You know those that are with you, and you know those that are just coming in, but they want to tag along, so that people will feel like, yeah, I'm in class too. I was in class. I don't understand. I was there when you explained. Go, guy, you were not there. You type 0 when others were typing 4. Somebody won't put 0 and comma no file. Okay. Interesting, interesting, interesting. All right, so let's proceed. Let's proceed. That's why YouTube Live is actually quite a savior per se, because if this were to be a Zoom call or a Google Meet call or whatever, those people would have missed those parts. So, but it's good. They're joining live on YouTube. They can start wherever they want to start from, and they will get to where we are. Okay, somebody just called me a location in Lagos. Can you see? Can you see? But yeah, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. You're covered. All right, so let's proceed. Case 34. If you look at the text that we have here, how can we capitalize each sentence? What does that mean? What do you mean by capitalize each sentence? Case 34, we want to clean out. If you look at this stuff that we have here, this set of words, the first one, telephone, it looks like there are things before the T. There are some things there. And for big toes, in between, there are some extra spaces, unwanted spaces. Chocolate bar, there might be some things there as well. Same with my pineapple, because this is not the pineapple that everyone knows. But I know this to be pineapple anyway, so just pardon that. One thing with this is that sometimes, let me give you a trick here. Sometimes you're trying to analyze a data set and you're looking at the data, you're looking at the content that you have in a particular column, for example. Queen Chidera, if you can't see my screen, maybe your internet, please exit, or you try to change your internet, or just do something about your internet. If you sometimes you're trying to analyze a data set and then you realize that the cases don't just make sense, or the words don't have the usual format that people would normally expect. What are you supposed to do? Or you're not even sure, for example, you are looking at big tools, you're not sure what could be in between. Is it some invisible things or some space characters that are in there? There are a couple of things around it. Number one is, one thing you can try to do first is, when you look at telephone, if you count the number of characters for telephone, James, you are there. If you count the number of characters for telephone, visually counting this, you will count maybe nine characters from T to E. Telephone, you count 9 characters. But if you want to be sure if there are other characters before T, or is just the program, or because the data was downloaded from the system, maybe it's just the system that made it look this way. The way to confirm is to use Excel to count the number of characters. Don't visually count. And one function that you can use to count that I did not put here for you is the len function, len. So len is a function that you can use to count in Excel, to count the number of characters. So if I come here now, I do something like this, equal to len. What does len function do? It returns the number of characters in a text string. Please take note of this. I sometimes will read out the description of what a function would do so that you can keep that in mind. The len function counts text string. I select this. Then I go to pick telephone. I hit enter. Now, when I visually counted telephone, my expectation is that I'm supposed to have 9 characters. If you count from T to the last E, you're supposed to have 9 characters. But when I use the len function, Excel is telling me that there are 13 characters there. So that tells you that there are some unwanted characters. Unwanted characters can be of two. It can either be unwanted or extra spaces, like the spaces you will naturally get when you hit the space bar on your keyboard. That's unwanted spaces, extra spaces. Naturally, in between words, you are supposed to have a single space. If it's just a single word, you are supposed to not have any space at all. The other thing is you can have unseen characters. You can have unseen characters. What does it mean to have unseen characters? What it means is that there are some characters that exist, but naturally you can't see them. And they are not spaces. You can see them. These are characters that exist in some languages, maybe in Greek language or some other languages. But those characters, when you type them, because our own system has been wired to display certain things, it might not be able to display all. And this probably or most times happen when you download data from certain systems. It comes with some unseen characters, and you are wondering, you are trying to compare Ade to Ade, and you are wondering, why is Ade not equal to Ade? What you should do, someone is saying spiritual letters now. Abba, Uncle Joseph. So why are you trying to compare Ade to Ade? And Excel is telling you that, guy, Ade is not equal to Ade. Now you see Ade, but it's really not Ade that is on both sides. What you should know is that one of these two might be the issue. So it's either there are some unwanted spaces or there are some unseen characters. How do you deal with both of them? Very simple. There are two functions that you need to use to deal with both of them. You have the trim function and you have the clean function. So trim will help you trim out unwanted spaces. Unwanted spaces implies that if it's a single word, like the case of telephone, trim function will take out every leading spaces and all trailing spaces. It takes all of them out. That's what trim would do. It trims the text of unwanted spaces or unwanted characters. The unseen characters, if you want to deal with them, those guys are stubborn, so you need to clean them out. So for them, you use the clean function in Excel to manage them. The other thing I wanted to explain about the trim function is if you have multiple words that are separated by spaces, the trim function would reduce the number of spaces that you have in between two words to just a single space. So all extra spaces above one would be trimmed. So that's what trim would do. Cleans out unwanted characters. But let's see, what does Excel tell us about them? So if I do equal to trim, let's look at the description. Trim removes all spaces from a text string except for single spaces between words. And this tells you if you have a single word, you would have all of the spaces trimmed out. So then I go on to select telephone, hit enter. Now I have this telephone here. How am I sure that this telephone is now clean? Let's do something. I will do equal to len. I'll select this clean telephone, hit enter, and now this tells us that we have 9 characters, whereas the original text has 13 characters. Big tools, the same thing will happen to them. How I highlight everything, Control D. Now big tools is looking like this. The unwanted spaces that we have in between has now been reduced to just one. One other thing here is that now we have been able to clean out unnecessary spaces, but we still have an issue to deal with. Big toes, for example, is not looking nice. The big G, the big T, the big E, the big S, we probably want them all in the same case. Chocolate bar, that's all written in uppercase, we probably want it all in proper case. Pineapple, written this way, we want to also correct that as well. So how do we manage this? We can now do what is called nesting. What does nesting means? It means that you are now using a function inside function. Everything that we have done so far needed us to only apply a function per time. But at this time, we now can go ahead to now combine multiple functions together to achieve what we want to achieve. So now this is clean. We have trimmed this to get what we want. Then we can now come here, can go inside the formula bar now and wrap what exactly I have now, the result I have now. I can now wrap this around the proper function. So what I'm telling Excel now is that, yes, I want to perform two operations. The first is go on to trim this guy. When you are done trimming this guy, then convert everything to proper case. Onyinye is nesting, not netting. Nesting, like the bird's nest. Nesting. If I hit enter now, you see that our telephone now looks nice. If I copy down this guy, Control D, you see that our big toes, our chocolate bar, they all now look nice. So this is your journey has just started to the world of combining functions. And you're going to do a lot of this when you work with Excel. There are times that you'll probably have up to like 5 functions, one inside another. Sometimes you might get things a lot more complicated. You are nesting about 10 functions, one inside another. But the major thing is that the individual functions you need to know, you must ensure you know what individual function will naturally return, because that is the behavior that they will retain when you begin to put them one inside the other. If all I've said to you makes sense to this point, please head onto the chart and type 7. Come again with what, Festus? Okay, with nesting function. So essentially what I explained about nesting function is that if you look at all the scenarios that we've considered so far, from the start of the class till this time, we've only used one function at a time. One function at a time. But now we ran into a scenario where we wanted to perform two operations together. And that's the two operations we needed to get the results at once. What we might have done is that we do the trimming first, and in another cell, we now try to convert it to the uppercase or the lowercase or whatever case we want to get it to. But with nesting function, the ability to use a function inside another function, it made it possible for us to run the two operations to get a single result at the same time. And for that reason, that particular technique is what is called nesting. Nesting functions in Excel. Nesting is not only in Excel, any sort of spreadsheet application allows for nesting. If you're writing DAX in Power BI, you'll be doing a lot of nesting as well. So essentially, the concept of nesting is you are using a function inside another function. Thanks for that, Sharon. Do you understand now? Festus, Julius, you should understand now. You see now, someone is asking, what is 7? Exactly. What is 7? Because they are just seeing 7 on the chart. They don't know what's happening yet. All right. So, guys, you understand what nesting is. Thanks for that, Joseph. That's the summary. That's the summary. 7 is perfection. Thanks for answering. Combined function. Okay, good. All right, so let's proceed. The other point I wanted to make here is that if I do equal to clean, see what clean would do. Clean removes all non-printable characters. That's big grammar, especially for us in this part of the world. All non-printable characters means all unseen characters. Or not printable means unseen. We cannot see it. So when you're looking at something like, for example, you're looking at this telephone, for example, and you feel like there are some characters before the T, and you've used the trim function to trim it, but the trim is not getting to achieve that result, then the next thing for you to use is to use the clean function on it. It means that you do not have unwanted spaces here. Rather, what you have are just some unprintable or unseen characters. All right, so let's proceed. Next, we have done this already. How many characters are below? So somebody should tell me, what function are we to use for case study 5 to get the number of characters? Go on the chat and type it quickly. Do you always use trim before clean? Many times that's the route you want to go, because a lot of your guesses will be around, if you see just some unnecessary spaces, you would think they are spaces. That's what your guesses will lead you to most times. So it's only when you have tried the trim function and it's not cleaning it out, that's when you resort to using the clean function. Hope that makes sense to you. Excellent. So you use the learn function for that. So I'm going to proceed. Well done, well done, well done. Thanks for putting your mind at this. What should I give everyone this night? Tell me. What should I give everyone? I'm not sure you're up to 10,000 on this call. No one is answering. I will move on. Okay, I've moved on. Thank you. I've moved on already now. I've moved on already. Someone said kudos. Okay. Akara. Okay. Let's go. Case study 6. We have our data set this way. First name and the surname. And we've been told to create the full name. This is a typical scenario. Very practical, realistic scenario. You get your someone wants noodles. Noodles are bad now. So you're downloading data from a system, or someone is sharing a data file with you, and the data comes this way: first name and surname. And you don't want to create a report that would only have first names, or create a report that will only have last names, because it's possible that within your organization there might be multiple people with the same first name, or multiple people with the same surname or last name. And then you're tasked with the responsibility of creating the full name. So you have to create a full name from the first name and the last name. How do we create that? Very simple. What do? There are a couple of functions. Let's go back here. So we have this set of functions. So these three functions can be used for combining texts. So these three functions can be used for combining texts. So we have, you can use the ampersand. This symbol that you see here is called ampersand. Or you can use the concat function, or you use the text join function. Ampersand, concat, or the text join. So we can use any of those functions. So let's see. I'll come here. If I want to use the ampersand, for example, I'll do equal to. I'll do equal to. Then I select the first name because I want the first name to come first. I want the first name to come first. You did not see the ampersand clearly. Ampersand is on your 7 key. Your key, the key that has number 7. That's where ampersand is. So if you want to get ampersand on your keyboard, you do shift 7. That would give you the ampersand. It's the and sign. That's what they call it. And that and sign that we normally would use. Okay? My screen is blurry. Please confirm on the chat, everybody. Is my screen visible to you, clear or blurry? Someone is just joining at 7:52 p.m. and they are still telling us that they are just joining. Interesting. Clean, visible, slightly blurry, clean, very clean. Okay. I think the issue might just be about the internet bandwidth. So if your internet is not so strong at your end, it might be slightly boring. Or you're streaming with a phone, that's correct too. So if you're streaming with a phone, you might not get the best view of what I'm doing. Not as sharp. Oh, I see. All right. Might just be the internet anyways, but I'm looking at the screen, what I'm projecting. I'm looking at it on a different screen so I can see that it's actually clear. I can see. But I just wanted us to confirm from your end as well. So I'll select the first name. I've pointed to the first name and I will add an ampersand here. An ampersand tells Excel that I want to combine whatever is on the left with whatever I will put on the right. So if I don't put anything on the right and I hit enter, you see that I get a warning that there's probably a typo because the ampersand is expecting that there should be something on the right. So I'm going to select the surname on the right, and then I would just hit enter. So I hit enter. Now, I've got this as the result. What do you think is wrong? I joined the first name to the last name, and this is what I got. What is wrong? No spaces. Good. So because when you use the ampersand, you need to explicitly define every single character that would be as part of the new text that you're trying to create. So if I go back into this, whatever you want to add as the delimiter must be expressly defined. So I come here, if I want a space to be, or maybe I want a dash, so I just put a dash in double quote like this. Remember from last week, I told you that whenever you're typing, you are typing a text in Excel, you have to wrap it in double quotes. So for this, now that I've defined the delimiter to be a dash, If I hit enter now, you see now we get jolly and yummy. If you want that to be a space instead, I just take out the dash and then I put a space. I hit enter, I get jolly and yummy. That is when you use the ampersand. But when you use concat or text join, these two guys are powerful, so they will already take care of the space for you. The two guys would already take care of the space for you because they would have asked you that, what do you want to use as a delimiter? So let's try that out with Ali Sharif. So I come here, I do equal to concat. I do equal to concat. So concat is asking for the text that you want to concat together. Okay, I think I made an error with that. So concat will still need you to define all of the text, but text join is the one that will take care of the delimiter. So concat is still more like this. You select, this is the first text, comma, the second text will be a space like this, then the third text will be sheriff. So I close the bracket, I hit enter. Concat's still more like using the ampersand because you have to define every single character that would be part of, that will serve as the delimiter. Let's do the senior guy, text join, equal to text join. I like this guy so much. Why? The guy would ask you first for the delimiter. What do you want to use as the delimiter? That's the first thing text join would ask you. So we can tell text join to use a space as the delimiter. Having told it to use a space as the delimiter, it still went on to ask us one important question. That, yes, not everyone will have text join. It's a way to just show you what's possible. If you are using anything less than 2019, I don't expect you to have text join. But it's good that you know about it because the guy is powerful. Then it's asking us, do you want to ignore empty cells? Why is this question important? We'll know in a moment. So I'll just say that it should ignore empty cells. True. Then I put a comma. Instead of pointing to the cells individually, I will just highlight the two cells together like this. I'll just highlight the two cells. And if you have the text that you want to put together in 10 cells, you can just highlight all the 10 cells together. And that was the importance of the question that led us to having a true, which was asking us whether we want to take out spaces, empty cells or not. So if you have highlighted 20 cells and only 3 cells have values to concat together, then those 3 cells would only be considered and all other empty cells are going to be truncated. That is the importance of saying a true here. So I close the bracket here, I hit enter. Now I've got Ali Sharif. Juliet, I'm too fast. Not actually, but let me take this again. I'm hoping that anyone that has missed that, you're going to catch it now. Take the next thing again, Ke. The boss have moved. They're going back. So let's go. Equal to text join. First thing the text join is asking for is the delimiter. What is the delimiter? The delimiter is, think about it like the separator. You're putting together a number of texts. You want to have something to separate them. Otherwise, everything just look mumbled, jumbled together, and you're wondering where does one stop, where does one start, something like that. So the delimiter is what would define the separator for each of, or that separates the different text one from the other one. The delimiter in our case would be a space. So I'm just going to type space in between double quotes. Whenever you are typing double quotes, you are not typing single quote twice. That's a mistake that some people make. Some people want double quote and then they do single quote twice. You should do shift that particular key to get double quote. And then ignore empty cells. Yes, we want to ignore. Then, what are the texts that we want to put together? These are the texts. These are the texts that we want to put together. I just highlight all the text together. For text join, you don't have to specify individual texts. Just highlight all of the text you want to put together, hit enter, and you're good to go. Then I can copy down this guy. Now we're done. Yes, if you do not put a space in between the double quotes, Christiana, it's more like saying that you are typing in an empty character, so nothing will show. Yes, it's the space bar. That's correct. Why do we need concat when we can go straight to text join? Because not everybody would have text join. Like some people have mentioned on the chat, some would not have text join. Text join is still pretty much recent than concat. Apply it, please. I got your explanation. Apply what? I saw concatenate. No concat found. Oh, okay. Adetuji, I'm guessing that you're using something around 2016, maybe Excel 2016 or 2013 or 2010. That's probably what you're using. But you notice something with concatenate. Let me show you. You already will see that. If I do concatenate, can you look at this? What did I tell you about concatenate, everybody? What did I tell you about any function that has this warning sign? What did I tell you about it? That's correct, Akintoday. But when you use double quotes, there has to be space in between for it to denote space. So you do double quotes, then you press your space bar in between. So that will create a space in between. What did I tell you about functions that have this warning sign? Angie, can be used, maybe not necessarily. Compatibility function, excellent. Thanks for that, Shegun. Compatibility function. So it means that the function is still available, but it's been made for backward compatibility. For example, you have built some report with using this function, and now you're using a more recent version of Excel. Excel does not just want you to lose everything that you have built before now. If you have been in that situation before, you will understand what I mean. You open a spreadsheet and you just see bunches of errors. You don't understand what is happening. What's happening is that you have used a function that's been removed in Excel. So that's why we have them as compatibility function. They are functions that you should naturally avoid. Don't use them. So if you don't have other than that, you may want to just go with the ampersand for your case. Hope your case is not so complicated beyond what ampersand can take. Now, we want to create email addresses for this guy. So let's say that for our company, all our email addresses end with ainow.edu.ng. This is invalid. I know, right? So I'm just going to put something here to tweak it. So that's a trick there. If you don't use them, why are they still there? I've already explained now. I've explained, yeah? So now, email address. We want to create email addresses using the first name and the last name. So maybe it's a case like this. For example, maybe people's email address will be first name dot last name at ainow.edu.ng. Maybe this is the pattern for our email addresses. So how do we get this to happen? This is not difficult at all. What we need to do is this. So I can do equal to, okay, let me leave you to do this first, because I know that there will be an issue that we have to deal with. Everybody try it. So now you are creating email addresses for this set of guys, and the email address must follow this pattern. The first name dot the last name at ainow.edu.ng. Create the email address for Jolly India as the first guy and type in the function or the formula that you use. Type that in the chat for me. You put a comma, before the ng. Nope, it's a dot. You use Power BI for this thing. What's the thing that you use Power BI for? You have a classwork now. The class is not over, Mr. Lekon. The class is not over. So let's try this and drop the actual formula is what I need on the chart, not necessarily the result, the formula itself. So when you're done, you go to the formula bar, you pick the actual formula, copy it, and paste on the chart here for me to see. All right, someone use concat. Well done, Ire Alade. Adam, you're not supposed to tell me the function to use. Oh, use it and and show me how you've applied it. That's what I want to see. Angela Olua, okay, you use the ampersand. That's good. Olua Shegun, I'm not sure you would have exactly what we expect. Bemi Sola, Concatenating. No, don't tell me the options. Do it. You know, sometimes you are in an interview and then they're asking you, how would you solve this case? And you're, oh, I can. You use a combination of this, and this, and this. Okay, all right, that's fine, that's fine. Please share your screen. We have sent a file to your email, and then you froze. Angie, okay, I should try it. Angie wants to test me. Hey, voila. You did it already. Okay, that's fine. But I want to say the actual formula. That's what I wanted to paste on the chart. Aderinto, you have given me fill in the gap. Guy, don't stress me. Fill in the gap yourself. But I know that you use concat. Let me see if I will get a few more responses before we proceed. Vix, not sure that would work. Yeah, Epitome, more like it. David, not sure. Yeah, like your honesty. We're gonna do it. You have an idea what you're doing. Yeah, let the idea come to life. Using your phone practice later. Good. Okay, let's say for a case like this, the best bet for you would have been to use the ampersand, or you go the route of concat. Aderito, which one is one bottle? One bottle of what? Petrol, Abi. So we can do first name. So we said the pattern is first name dot last name. So I can just come here to pick the first name. I come here to pick the first name, and then I use the ampersand dot. I pick the last name. Excuse me. What happened? I pick the last name here, like so, and then I add the ampersand again, and I pick ainow.edu.ng. So what might help in a case like this is you already have what you want to use as a constant, which is the email extension. You already have it typed somewhere. That might help you a great deal. So if I do that, now I get jolly.iyami at ainow.edu.ng. But one other thing you might want to do here, so let me just do it again in case, just for the sake of those that will probably would, um, they didn't get it the first time, equal to the first name, one second. All right, so apologies. I need to switch the screen. There is power outage. Persisted. It's persist. 1 second. So let me go this window. For some reason, I'm not seeing my cursor. So just hold on, please, everybody. 1 second. Can't see my cursor. What's the shortcut to get it back? The mouse cursor. Should double tap the mouse bar. Not sure that's working. That's not doing it. This is so frustrating. It's happened to me once like that, and I think I got away around it. But it's looking like the guy is back tonight. Restarting. I don't want to restart. I've used the escape key, Windows P. Don't worry. Let me ask this Oracle. Toggle. Okay. Just 1 second. I'm still with us. Oh, this is something else. Okay, let's do what I didn't want to do. Let me just save the file and try to restart this. Unfortunately, this laptop is not even touch screen, so it's a bit tough. So give me a minute or two, please. I'll be back. Can we hear me? Can we hear me? Can we hear me? All good. Okay. I think you can. All right. Apologies for that. That's tech for you. Certain times we really don't have control over some of these things, but yeah. So let's proceed. Um, was trying to. So we're trying to get the email address constructed, and I did something like this. Coming here equal to. So I pick. So let me just reduce the size for this. One second, just want to reduce the size for this so it fits better into the screen. Okay, so now I do equal to, I pick the first name, we're joining that to a dot, then and the last name. Just know that for every single portion of the resulting text, so every single part that would form the resulting text would be separated with the ampersand. That's just what you need to put in mind. And once we have this, then we have everything. Then the other thing I wanted to explain here is that many times you'll see email address written all in lower cases. As part of what you've learned, we know that we can now come here and wrap the lower function around all of this, and everything just goes into the lower case. Okay, so let's if you're still together, please go into the chat and type 9. If you're still together, please type 9 on the chat. All right, thanks a lot. So let's proceed to the next case study quickly. So this one, case study 7, we want to be able to extract. Why is this long? Okay, I see why. So we want to be able to extract first names and surname from this original email address. So this time we have the email addresses. And this is also a typical case that you might find yourself in. So where you would have to deal with a case like this, email addresses are given to you and someone is asking you to help them extract the first name and the last name from it. How do we go about this? So it means we want to do the reverse. What we did then was using the first what's it called? Was putting together first and last name to create full name or email address. Now we have email addresses. We need to now extract first and last names from that. There are two ways to look at this, and because we have two sections that will look at an extraction like this, so I'm going to use some functions for this one. The function that I will use for this one is these two functions here, text before and text after. And I know that not everybody would have this, so don't panic. We can also use these three functions, left, mid, and right. And those were the functions that I tried explaining when we started, to say that whenever you are extracting from the leftmost parts of an original text, then use the left function. When you are starting your extraction from the middle of the original text, which means the point of reference for you, the major thing that you want to pick out from the original text, sits in the middle or starts from the middle of an original text, then you need to use the mid function. And the right function, you use that when you're starting your extractions from the right side. But the text before and text after, so these two functions work best when you have delimiters. Think about it this way. So we have ade equals boy. we have something like this. That is a delimiter, that is a separator for the two parts of the text of the word. If we want to extract ade, for example, we can use the text before, which says that text before just means that you want to extract all the text before a particular delimiter. Text after means you want to extract all the text after a particular delimiter. So depending on your case, depending on the position of where what you want to pick is from, is sitting in, that's what will define whether you're supposed to use the text before or you're supposed to use the text after. But the name of the function is quite intuitive, so it tells you exactly what it do. But just put it this way: text before means you're extracting text before a delimiter. Text after means you're extracting the text after a delimiter. I'm not on that many other screen for now, so I may have to be switching between windows. I might be missing some charts. If you have specific questions, please leave that. Just put it somewhere. I would attend to that in the next say 10-15 minutes. We should be rounded up already. So now, based on the explanation that I just gave, so if I come down here to the case 7, we want to extract first name from this. The first name is Jolly. And we have the email address to be jolly.inyame@ainow.org. That is the email address. If which of the functions, text before, text after, based on my explanation, which of them would work in the bid to extract Jolly from this email address? Which of them should we use? We have to use text before. Okay. If you're going to use text before, what then will be the delimiter? What is the delimiter if we are using text before? Correct. The delimiter will be a dot. So let's go. So I do equal to text before. This is asking for the text that we want to extract from. This is the email address, comma. What is the delimiter? The delimiter is a dot. So I'll just wrap that in double quote. All other arguments, they are optional arguments. I'm going to leave them all for now. So I'll close the bracket, I'll hit enter, and this picks Jolly for us. And you know that in case you want this to be in proper case, you can just wrap proper around the text before. I'm doing all of this so that you get used to nesting functions. You can't survive some extensive Excel games if you can't nest functions together. So we've been able to extract the first name. Let me do that again. Equal to text before. What is the text? This is the text. That's the email address. I'll put a comma. What's the delimiter? It is dot. So I'll wrap that around a double quote. And I close the bracket. I hit enter. I get this small Jolly. I want to make it big Jolly. So I'll wrap it around the proper function. I close the closing bracket. And then I have this Jolly. If you go what I just did, on the chart type 11. Theophilus, you don't have text before. And you're using Excel 2021. That's sad. Sorry about that. But I think you should have text join. I remember text before and text after. It came a lot after text join. So I suppose you will have text join. So text before, text after, it means it came after 2021. Okay, so 11, everyone got that. Okay, so think about it. Based on my explanation, can you try to solve getting out the surname using the functions that we've learned? Try it out. Let's see who would be able to. Anyone who has text before and text after, you can try it. Let me see if there will be anyone in the next 1 or 2 minutes. Yeah, James, that's because of the version. What the interesting thing about this is that it's good that you know that these functions exist. It's good that you know how to use the functions because you most likely would eventually get somewhere that they have all these functions. You don't need to be doing stuff the traditional ways. So you can always use the newer functions in Excel. They are simpler to use. They make life a lot easier for you. What we just did to get out the first name, if we were to do it the traditional way, we will use two functions to do the same thing that text before did for us. So those are things that you need to bear in mind. So it's good that you know you are aware that those functions exist. It's also good that you've learned how to use them. Then okay, promise you use text after. Okay, miracle. But when you use text after, that will give you the last name including the email extension. So that will not give you just the last name. Yeah, Israel. I can say that would work. Good. All right, so let's do it. Let's do it. So I come here. If I come here now, if you're thinking about it, we want to extract Inyame, and Inyame is sitting between two delimiters. Inyame is sitting between two delimiters. We have the at and we have the dot. So what we want to do now is, let's think about it. We need to be able to get everything before the at and somehow ask it to now give us everything after the dot. I hope I'm not confusing somebody. We need to be able to tell Excel to get everything after at, or sorry, everything before at. So everything before at will give us the first name dot the last name. And then we now ask it to now give us everything after dot, which would give us the exact thing that we need, which is just the last name. I always say this, solving problems in Excel is, and in analysis generally, is more of thinking than doing. If you don't understand the pattern to the problem, you can't understand the pattern to the solution. You must understand the pattern to the problem. You must understand, you must be able to picture the problem for you to be able to picture the solution. So if the problem is not clear in your head, you can't get a good solution. Yeah. So that's the typical thing with analysis. So with what I've described, so if I come here now and I do equal to text before, for example, what is the text? This is the text. What is the delimiter? At sign. I close the bracket, I hit enter. So this gives us jolly dot inyami. But I know that inyami is what I need, and inyami is after the dot. So I can then come here, I do text after. The text is the result that we already have here. So I just put a comma here, and then I say I'm getting the text after the dot. So I close the bracket, I hit enter. This gives me Iyami, and I want Iyami in proper case. I change this to proper. Now it's getting more interesting. I've nested three functions together to get Iyami. Let me do that again. Equal to text before. Text before, this is the text, and at is the symbol. I hit enter. This gives jolly.inyami. I want inyami, which is after the dot. So this gives me inyami. Then I also want inyami to be in proper case. So I wrap it out. I wrap it all around it. So now we have the result. Fisayo, don't worry, send it to me. Send it on LinkedIn. Don't worry. If you don't have text before, you don't have text after, we'll find a solution for you too. Everyone has a solution. Okay, so if you understand what I've done now, at least, even if you are not able to practice it, you understand the logic, you understand the thought process, please go to the chat and type 13. All right. I'm glad that you understood it. So let's go back. So for those of you that you do not have text before and text after, what's the way out? So this is the way out. Very simple. Now, I already mentioned to you that for text extraction, you need left, mid, right. Those are the primary functions that you need. But at times that you now need an helper function, which is the find and search. So these are helper functions to get you the results that you need. But let's go. How do you do that? Now, for the first name, we know that Jolly that we want to extract, Jolly is sitting at the leftmost part of the original text. Jolly is sitting at the leftmost part of the original text. And I've told you that whenever you want to extract from the leftmost part of the original text, then you use the left function as the name implies. So I do equal to left. I do equal to left. Now, left is asking for two things, the text and the number of characters. If I select this as the text, how many characters is Jolly? Jolly is 5 characters, so I put 5 here. And I close my bracket, I hit enter. This gives me Jolly. But the problem with this approach is that if I copy down my formula to the next cell, I get Ali.s. What I'm expecting is Ali, but now I'm having Ali.s. Someone should tell me on the chat what you think is wrong. What have I done wrong? Characters are different, 5 letters, Excel is counting. Excellent, you pick that. So, because Excel is, I've done something. So when I wrote the formula initially, I already said that Excel should return 5 characters. I've told Excel to return 5 characters. Okay, so the 5 characters that I told Excel to return is exactly what it's returning below. So which is why I have ali.s. What I've done here, having to specifically tell Excel the number of characters I want, is called hard coding. I've hard coded the number. Hard coding. So hard coding is when you specifically type the number of what you want exactly. Like in the case of the number of characters, I've said 5 characters. So it means that every instance, excuse me, every instance of using this formula, if I copy this formula elsewhere, Excel will continue to extract just 5 characters. And that might not be what you want in all cases. So how do we salvage this? It means that instead of telling Excel to always return 5 characters, we should find a way to tell Excel the number of characters that would be in the first name so that he extracts that accurately. What I would do instead is this. Very simple. Just pay attention. I'll do equal to left. And then I'm picking from this. But for the number of characters, I want to tell Excel to go and look for these dots. You know, the dot is the delimiter. It's what separates, is the dots that will tell me the end. That's where I should stop when I start picking the letters from the left. So it's the dots that will tell me. And one function that I can use to go locate the position of that dot is the find function. So I do find what? What am I finding? I'm looking for dots within text where it's in the same email address. I want to go and search for dot in this email address. When it says that dot, I will not do something yet. Just pay attention. But just know that this find portion, what is going to return is it will return the position of the dot. And you know that once I know the position of the dot, I want to return everything to the left of the dot. So I'll hit enter here, but this gives me jolly dot. So it gave back jolly dot because the position of the dot itself, if we count, is 6. So J is 1, O is 2, L is 3, L is 4, Y is 5. And dot is on the 6th position. So what we have said now is this find will return 6. If you look at this, when I highlighted it, it returned a 6. So, and that 6 tells Excel that you want to return 6 characters from the left. And that's the reason why it included that dot. So what we can do here to make it accurate is to do -1. So which means find a dot. When you find the position of the dot, whatever is the position of the dot, deduct 1 from it. The resulting number is what you should use as the number of characters to be returned. If I hit enter now, we get jolly that we are expecting. And if I copy down the formula now, you see that it's correct for Ali, it's correct for Lushegun, and it will be correct for all of them. Does this make sense to you? Clear, 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 not clear, not clear, not clear. Yes, you can also add proper to it. You are getting there. So that's, you are thinking in Excel already. There are 2 dots from the text selector. Yes. Find would find the first one. In a way, it will find the first one. That's the default anyways. Excel constipation, okay, I can today. That's clear. Okay, let me do it one more time. And I'll leave you to explore the rest so we can take some questions. So now, so I do equal to, let me do this first. If I do equal to find, so that you see what find naturally would do. If I say find at in this email address, close the bracket, and I hit enter. You see that it returned 12. So it tells you that at is on the 12th position. At is the 12th character in the email address. So that is what the find function would naturally return, which is the same with the search. So find is just case sensitive, search is not case sensitive. They do the same thing. So, excuse me. Whenever you use the find to look for a character, the resulting answer tells you the position of that character in the text that you are looking in for, which is why we needed it for our case to get to know what what's the position of the dot in our case, which will define where we will stop our extraction of the first name. So I do equal to left. This is the text we want to extract from, the number of characters. Then I will find dot in the same text. I'll close my bracket. Nope. I'll close my bracket like this, but I know that this will return the exact position of the dot, which in the case of jolly.yami, that will be 6, but I need 5 characters. I don't want it to include dot in what it will return. So I'll just say -1. So this will now mean that Whatever is the position of the dot, take a step backwards, and that would give the position of the last character of the first name, if you understand what I mean. Then I hit enter here, and this gives what we have. Then I go here, I can wrap it in proper, like someone said, and I close my bracket. And for this case, we've nested 3 functions to get out the first name. And remember, there's a difference between using left and find, because somehow find has been embedded in the text before. So you don't necessarily need to say find, because text before would naturally ask you what the delimiter is. So you will find that itself. Yeah, Olashopo, that's the purpose of find. Very clear now. Okay, good. All right. So now let me leave you to explore how to extract the surname from this. But let me give you some functions that might be helpful. You might need a function like the mid. You will need the find as well. You need the length as well. So these 3 functions should suffice, I think. Depending on your approach, you might also want to use the right function. So you will combine these functions together to be able to extract the surname if you do not have the text before and the text after. Okay, so I'll leave you to explore that. And yeah, that's more like an assignment that will not be graded. But again, one skill set that is important for you to have is to be able to just find answers, like the find function in Excel. We have some minutes left before we wrap up. It's been a long talk. Let me take some questions now. Questions? Excellent, Esther. Don't worry. There's an issue, but that issue, we are going to fix it. When would that be? That might be sometime next week, by God's grace. But there is something that is making it act the way it has acted, which is the natural thing. So you have not done anything wrong. It's natural for you to act that way. I knew that was one that's gonna happen. That's why I did not push my own down, because I don't want to talk about that thing yet. But don't worry, sometime next week, by God's grace, we'll get there. Questions, any questions, any questions, any questions, people? I'm trying to scan for questions. What if some of the data do not have a common character dot? Good, that's a good question. Don't worry, we have when we are rounding up, those are some very advanced things that we'll look at, where you have, you want to do some pattern extraction. You're not so specific. You're not so sure of the character that you want to use as the separator. How do you manage those scenarios? Yes, so that's most likely will happen when we get to the class on array functions. The art refers to a formula in my Excel. Is it okay? The art refers to a formula in my Excel. I don't understand what I mean. What if some of the data do not have Avanza? The email creation control D didn't do justice. How? My Excel is not allowing me type this in any column. It returns a name error. Yes, it's because you're starting with arts. Excel is assuming that it's supposed to be something special. So what you would do is, before the art, just put a single quote there, Christiana. Start with a single quote, then type everything you want to type. Excel would accept it. So that's the trick. What does num character agreement means in mid? That's the number of character you want to return. How do you sign? Can you please take the left function again? Nope. Sorry. Please watch the recording. What if you want to make use of the second dot? So what you would do is, in the find function, there's an argument there that says start num, which is what character do you want to start from. If you want to use the second dot, what you just need to do is to ask it to start somewhere after the first dot. ask you to start somewhere after the first dot. For now, you can just visually pick it. So you can say that you start from the seventh character, and that would solve your case. Text number, what does that mean? Adejun. Can we do one search, please? Let's see. Last thing. So look at this. Look at this. So let's say that we have AI now. This is what we have, and then we want to search for n. We want to find n in this. If I do equal to find, I'm looking for small letter n in AI now. See what we get. It returns a value error. If I do equal to search small letter n in AI now, it returns 3. So, and that's why I explained that find, when you use find is case sensitive, search is not case sensitive. So when you are doing a search, you're looking for something and you want to match the case for case, then you need to use the find. If you don't care about the case, whether it's small letter or B or capital letter, you can use the search for it. Search would always see it regardless of the case. Find is case sensitive. So that's why find was not able to get you small letter n in AI now. You can see it. I hope you got that now. Was that Jessica or somebody? Wrapping up in a minute. Anybody? Any more questions? Any more questions from anybody? Sorry, Joseph. Sorry. Don't worry. More power to your phone. Yes, if you type AI now, find would work because small letter n will be seen in small letter n. Can it return n? What does that mean? Left function not working for you. You're doing something wrong. You need to check again. All right. So I think this is where we'll stop. This is where we'll stop for tonight. Thanks again, everybody, for attending the session today. We would catch tomorrow. Bye, Ghost.
Sorry, please don't let us leave yet. We want to make a final announcement concerning the LMS again. Thank
All
you.
right.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. So, yes, once again, the LMS is a learning management system. And for you to log in as a first time user, you have to you log in through the portal. You use the portal.learnlive.site portal.learnlive.site to log in. And in case there is a problem logging in, maybe you've forgotten the username or the password, you do lost password. You do lost password. And then for your username and password, a mail was sent to you before the onboarding. Check that mail. You're going to find your username and your password. That is the exact username and password for the login. So in case if your login details are not working, you can fix it by doing lost password. That way you are able to reset your password and then instructions will be sent to your mail. Please follow the instructions. For returning users, just go straight to your course. You log in as usual, go straight to your course and then make sure that you are actively marking and completing every section or every class. You have to ensure that you mark it as done so as to keep the progress track accurate. Then, two things you're supposed to take note of, two key things to take note of or to ensure you do every time you log into the LMS is number one, you take attendance. Number two, You have to engage and learn actively. So take attendance in the sense that after this session, just like now, as I know, after this session, immediately after the session, ensure that you mark this class as done. Mark as done. You click the mark as done so that your attendance can be recorded. And then for engaging in learning very actively, ensure you join conversations, share your thoughts, ask questions, and respond to your peers. Because active learning is where real growth happens, and we want to see you engaging. So the best way to grow is to engage. Please engage, ask questions so that you can learn, relearn, and unlearn. Thank you. See you in the next class.